Maybe not.
Maybe just don't look at me because that's every time you start laughing again.
Yeah. Stare down.
We got to slow down. So then I started coaching, and I love to coach too. Like, it's just giving them what I learned, because I looked up to my coaches all the time, right? Like, they played a huge role in who I am today, and just a couple of my coaches kind of changed my career path, right? Like, they made me a better person. I want to do that to at least one person.
Hey everyone, my name is Brandon. Welcome to the Northern Strength Fitness Podcast Show. Today is our episode where we finally got on a guest speaker, and it is none other than Jesse Nelson. Hi Jesse, how are you today?
Hey Brandon, I'm doing pretty good. Super excited to be here, to be honest. I've been looking forward to doing this with you for a while, ever since you mentioned him. I want to do this because I think it'd be fun, right? So
yeah. So if you guys are not familiar with who this gentleman is, he comes to Northern Strength Fitness, comes to the gym. Has been there for a while. I'll let him kind of go into his whole story. But one of the first guys I thought of to bring on the podcast. So I'm excited to have you in here as well. We'll have a little conversation today, get to know you a little bit, share some stories with the audience. We'll see where the conversation goes. And then hopefully you guys that are watching or tuning in here will maybe get some knowledge from us, have some laughs, but also get excited to maybe watch future episodes. If you haven't watched any of the previous episodes, maybe you want to go back and watch some of those as well to give you guys an idea about what the show is about. So
it's worth it, in my opinion.
Well,
I enjoy watching them. They're a good time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so I think I'm just going to let you kind of introduce yourself, where you're from, what you're kind of going on in the fitness world. Kind of just tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, where you're from, where you grew up, those kind of things. Introduce yourself.
So as Brandon said, my name is Jesse Nelson. I originally am from Melfort. I was born there. I lived there for 19 years, and then I moved to Lethbridge, Alberta for college. I originally went there to go play basketball, but I made some dumb mistakes, and I didn't go to the tryouts.
Oh boy, see, this is new already for me. I didn't realize you even did this stuff. So
yeah, I went. I got a hold of the coaches, and they said, come to the tryout. I was like, okay, yeah, awesome, perfect. Like, what day? And they're like, well, it's this day. I was like, okay, perfect. Like, I'll be there. So I got moved into my residence, and I was 18, which was legal drinking age in Alberta.
Uh-oh.
And my mom said, I didn't drink in high school. Like, the odd party here and there, but nothing crazy, right?
Yeah.
And my going away gift from my mom was a 15-pack of Coors Light. It's first time drinking, right? And I'm allowed to drink, so I drank too much, and I forgot about the basketball tryouts the next day.
Oops.
So I spent a year in Lethbridge taking criminal justice. It was good, but again, I was 18 in a legal drinking age.
Yeah.
I decided to drop out after 1 year, and I came back to Melfort, and I started working for Cheyenne in Melfort step back. I started working here in Tisdale when I first came back as a detailer at Beaumar.
Gotcha.
And then I went to Cheyenne, and I was working as a service advisor for 2.5 years. And then they said, hey, do you want to make more money? I'm like, yeah, of course. Why not?
Well, yeah, why not, right? A little more cash, good.
Got moved into the back, and then I started out as an oil change tech. Went through school, got my journeyman's, and then moved here in 2019, and have been working at Beaumar since then.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's my life of work.
Yeah.
As for fitness, I've just always been around it.
Okay.
Like in high school, regular thing, push-ups, sit-ups, dumbbell curls, stuff like that.
Yeah, the classics.
Yeah,
like, just kind of do the things that you think look like you're supposed to do.
Yeah. And then when I came back from college, I got a rude awakening from my mom, actually. She's like, you're kind of fat.
Oh, no.
I was like, oh, okay. So I got a gym membership, and I fell in love. And that's really how I got started, was just because my mom said, hey, you're kind of fat.
Well, you got to get the kick in the right direction sometimes. And it's funny because like everyone like kind of has like probably a story of why they've joined the gym or what got them. Or some people, and I actually just signed up someone today for the first time, and they were super nervous. They were like in their, I would say like 50s, that came in just jittery. And then I was like, don't worry, like everyone has their first time at the gym. Yours is just a little bit later on in life. That's all fine. But everyone comes in new, right? And whatever sparks your reason, whether it's, you want to lose a little bit of weight or
Just stay in shape.
stay in
anything.
shape,
Yeah.
train for basketball. So I don't
Yeah.
know. Okay, so tell me more about this basketball stuff. So you went to Lethbridge for this tryout stuff. What was your kind of go up to the nat? Were you scouted out or?
I wouldn't say I was scouted. I just looked at possible places to go to school, and I'd always wanted to go to Alberta.
Yeah.
I'd gone to Lethbridge when I was, I want to say 10 or 11 for a judo tournament. And I mean, I liked the city. I knew the city, right? So I looked at the college there, and they had a criminal justice course. And I was like, well, I've been a part of this my whole life. Like, my dad was a social worker. He was a part of the criminal justice system. It's like, this is perfect. Why not? So then I just called up the coaches and said, hey, can I get a tryout? And they're like, yeah, for sure. So I went and applied, got accepted into the course, and that was really what it was. Was I going to go anywhere with it? No, probably not.
Well, you were pretty okay. So this is like how I remember first meeting you. I don't know if you can recall, but I think this was maybe the first time I met you, or at least seeing you play sports for sure. Was we were in a volleyball, like the beach volleyball tournament that was outside of. I think
we were down in Regina. Yeah,
I think that was like the first time I might have known you before that, but it was like, man, this guy's got hops. I was like, dang, he can just fly around. Okay.
And that was before my knee injury.
Oh, and even before there. Yeah. Well, not so hoppy now.
No, sorry. No, that was after my knee injury. Oh. Sorry, that was after my knee injury.
So you're even more hoppy.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. That was kind of what I was known for, was my hops.
Yes.
I'm not going to say I jumped out of the route, like the gym or anything like that, but I definitely could jump for someone my height.
Yeah. And then along with your basketball, you obviously do some volleyball stuff too. So tell us a little bit about that.
So volleyball, I've been playing since I was about 9 years old. Probably about 9. And I love volleyball. Like, volleyball's like breathing to me. It's just something that's second nature. I love doing it. So I played that up until obviously I graduated. And then I started playing rec competitive volleyball. Come here to adult rec on Tuesday nights here in Tisdale, or in Melfort on Sundays. But then I played in a PA league as well. Yeah, it was a co-ed competitive league, and that was a lot of fun. But now I'm at a point where my knees say, no, we can't do that no more. We got to slow down. So then I started coaching, and I love to coach too. Like, it's just giving them what I learned, because I looked up to my coaches all the time, right? Like, they played a huge role in who I am today, and just a couple of my coaches kind of changed my career path, right? Like, they made me a better person. I want to do that to at least one person. And I've had some success. Like, I'm still friends with a couple of the people I've coached a few years ago. Yeah. So I love it. It's something I really enjoy doing.
No, and if you've listened, or if you guys go back and listen, but I talked about like how in a small community, that's like super important to me. Like, just having those role models as coaches, because I went through and obviously had my own role models, and kind of led me to become wanting to be a phys ed major and do all that stuff. But yeah, for people to still want to give in to something like that and have, I guess, an impact on people's lives. I'm just noticing again lately, it's like a dive in like the amount of people that are willing to play sports or commit. So you got to find the right crew of people and the right coaches these days. And that's trickier than I think it used to be, but maybe I'm wrong. But
in a community like this, it is, because you have, in a smaller community, there's multiple different sport opportunities where you're going to have one person playing 3 or 4 sports. Yeah. So in a city center, if they play volleyball, it's volleyball year round. Yeah. That's all they do.
I didn't realize that either. Like, until I did my internship, like, and I was interning at Riffle High School, and I was like, you mean you played volleyball all year, like club? And I was like, no wonder they're so much better than us in our little town. Like, these guys are like playing like 4 or 5 times a week, and they played all summer. So, but that's their sport. That's what they do.
And like, there's also other sports like hockey, for example, right? That's normally a small town community. That's their main sport. Yeah. So we had that issue this year. We had a couple girls on the team that played hockey as well. So, I mean, you want to go play hockey? Go play hockey. I'm not going to stop you because it's something you love to do, right? Yeah. Come when you can to practice. But we were short a couple times on practices because of hockey, and
which then affects a little bit.
It does. Yeah. Because I mean, this whole season, I could probably count on my hands every time we had a full full team actually come to practice.
Yeah.
So, and it's tough as a coach, right? Because you plan a 12 person practice,
Yeah.
and you go show up to practice and there's 7 girls there. You're like, oh, okay, well, I can't do that no more.
Well, and you want the best for them too, right? So
Right.
it's like, hey, I know if we were all there, we would be this much more better, but I'm still going to do the best that I can with kind of what you got.
Right. And it's tough because then you could go to a tournament and some of the girls haven't come to practice for 2 weeks, and you're like, well,
Yeah.
you might be the better player, but you didn't come to practice. So like, I can't play you.
Yeah.
So then you have girls that aren't used to playing together, playing in a game, right? So that makes a huge difference too. So it's tough, but
Yeah, I coached a decent amount in my teaching years, and lots of small town coaching too. So kind of ran into lots of the same issues. And I even playing sports growing up, I was involved in multiple sports at the same time. Speaking of basketball, this is like a little side story for me, but I remember I had to go to a hockey game, which hockey was number one, which you were just talking about. But I was playing basketball at the same time. So I had to leave at a certain time to go to hockey. So I still dressed up for basketball, and my coach just said, well, play your hardest. You got half the game, and he's like, and then just foul yourself out, go for steals. So I was going real hard at those people trying to steal the ball. And I was done in like before the half. I got fouled out before the half. And then I was like, all right, see you guys. I got my last foul, and I was like, okay, I got to go for hockey. See you guys. So I don't know if that's
see, you say that you purposely fouled out before half. I fouled out before half a lot by accident because I was a scrappy guy, right? Like I've always been the bigger guy, right? So I was the one that, even though I was small, I had to guard the 6'5" guy on the other side.
Yeah.
Right. So I had to play scrappy. And there was a lot of times where I fouled out before half.
Yeah. I just remember that specifically because I was like, yeah, this is like the shortest basketball game I ever had. And I was like captain of the team, which our team was like 9 or so people. And I was the only grade 12 on it. And I was trying to set a good example, and fouled out within half. And my coach at the time was like, I should just pretend to yell at you and get you. He's like, we had this already planned out. So
Yeah.
Right on. So then you do a little bit of golf on the side. We're talking about golf.
Yes. Golf is now probably my number one
Ooh.
love. Just because it doesn't hurt my body.
Yeah.
Right? It's something I can do that I love doing, and I can walk the next day without being in pain.
Yeah. And you can get like infinitely better at it. Like the more that you put in to
100%.
learn it and practice it, it's like there's like to get to like leaps and bounds better. You can be like, oh, I'm really good for Tisdale, but then you realize, oh crap, that's not that good. Then it's like, okay, what brings me to the next level?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like I'd mentioned before, I'm going to go into the members championship this year because it's going to be the first time I've been in a solos tournament, right?
There you go.
I don't think I'm going to win, but my goal is to place top 5.
There you go.
If I'm top 5 in Tisdale, that's because even just 3 years ago, I was a pretty bad golfer. So I've made a lot of leaps and bounds, like you said, in the last couple of years. So I'm hoping this year I can push that last little bit and become pretty good.
Yeah. No, I think that's cool because like it gives you something to do for a long time. And like I said, you get infinitely better and you're not sore the next day. Knees not going to bug you and stuff like that.
I do have the odd back problem after golfing, but that's an ongoing thing with me. Back has always been an issue. So
yeah. Well, and you mentioned the goal too to finish top 5, and I was talking about all these goals in the last few podcasts. Yeah. So it's like, hey, you got a goal, and a cheesy little goal showed up, but top 5 is a good spot. So
I may have put that out there just because of the previous podcast. But
hey, there you go.
But it was even before I did.
Yeah,
that was a goal of mine to do that. So
yes, well, that's nice. It keeps you kind of intrigued and motivated when you have something to shoot for. I find at least.
100% it does because, like I said, the golf course has been open since Wednesday, or I guess yesterday. But I've been on the driving range 3 times already in the last 3 days, just because I know I'm not going golfing until Friday, but I can still work on my game until I get to the first round that I do, right?
Yeah.
And you can never, there's never a limit of how good you can be in golf.
Yeah, that's what.
And it's just the smallest little change can make a huge difference. So
I just want to be able to hit the fairway a few more times this year. That's my goal. Is land on the fairway a few more times this year, please. That'd be great.
And Tisdale's a tough course. Like if you don't hit the fairway, you're in trouble. Like there's a lot of trees. There's a lot of, it's a small course, but it's honestly one of the more challenging courses for the size.
Yeah, I think it's what number is the longest drive? Is it number 5 that they usually put the longest drive on?
Yeah, it'd be number 5.
That one's my favorite because there's opens on both.
That's probably the easiest one, yeah, because you can go left or right.
Yeah,
and still be
exactly.
okay.
Yeah, usually when I'm golfing with someone, it's like, okay, I'm going this way and they're going that way. It's like, we'll see you at the end because I'm shanking it off this way, they're pulling that way. So maybe this year I'll hit the fairway a little more. I'll maybe come for a few rounds of golf.
Oh, for sure. Let's do it. Like I said, I'm gonna spend every weekend there. Like minimum 18 holes each day on the weekend.
Nice.
2.5 hours of my day go golfing. Why not, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's funny how you say that. You're going this way, I'm going that way, kind of thing. So Cole, him and I, he's the reason why I got into golf, right? Because when we started living together, that was the one thing we could do that we both liked, right? Was golfing. And we would go to the tee, obviously, to the tee box. We would talk. Generally, we wouldn't talk till we get back to the green again because he hits the ball perfectly straight, and I'm over in the trees over here. And back then, it took me 5 or 6 tries to get up to the green, right?
Yeah.
And so we would talk in the tee box. Okay, see you on the green. Get to the green. Oh yeah, how's that go? Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Go to the tee box. Okay, see you on the green. It was just we never talked, but we were on the course all the time, right?
Yeah, something to do with someone.
Yeah.
That's good.
It was so much fun.
Yeah. Well, and having people like that too to like introduce you to stuff and do things with is always like a good little like, hey, I never would have done that if it wasn't for you.
Oh, 100%.
Or, I mean, I shouldn't say never, but it at least got you started in that whole situation. So nice. No, I'm trying to think of like whoever got me into golf. I don't even know. I think I tried it in school, and then like speaking of tournaments, I think that was my first school tournament because grade 7 where I grew up is where you can join school sports. Like that was our transition from like elementary to high school.
Mm-hmm.
You could join school sports, and golf was the first sport.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, I don't think Melfort had a junior golf team. You had to be senior to golf, I think.
Yeah. So luckily we had this grade 7 golf team, and I was like new in it. I was like, sweet, I'm gonna join all these sports, and that was the first one. So I'd never actually had golfed in my life, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. So the way the school golf team was ran was we did like a seeding. Like they wanted the coaches to send in a seeding scorecard, and then you would get seeded and flighted for the tournament the next day. So the seeding was the first time I've ever golfed ever.
But you knew how to at least, right?
No, not really. I kind of got a gist of the idea of it, and luckily, like I don't know where I picked it off of video games. Actually, now I'm thinking that's probably how I knew what to do because of video games. You know, those like old school. What was that? Hot Shots Golf.
Hot Shots Golf. Yeah.
Hot Shots Golf taught me how to golf. So then,
I mean, video games teach you a lot of stuff. It doesn't really matter what it is. You can learn from video games.
yeah. So needless to say, I did not do very hot the next day at the tournament.
You weren't a hot shot golfer.
I wish I could play those little buttons now. No. I gotta get better at this. That's awesome. Yeah. So anyway.
So, anyways, we're golfing seeding. We didn't do very good.
Just take us a minute here.
Pun number 1 has happened.
Yeah.
It was a success.
Hope you guys are enjoying the show. Okay, I'm done with my tears and the Laffy Taffy. So, maybe not.
Maybe just don't look at me because that's every time you start laughing again.
Yeah, stare down. We just gotta pick a new topic to talk about. All right.
So the gym.
Yeah, get into the gym stuff. So, we're just about there. Okay, you said you went to the gym after you got back from Lethbridge, or was it before that?
So I worked out a little bit when I was in Lethbridge with my roommates. I just want to look at you.
This is gonna be
who knew that pun was gonna be that funny? I mean, it works, I guess, right? So yeah, we worked out a little bit in Lethbridge, but I didn't learn anything from what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
I was just there doing the motions, not knowing what I was actually doing. So when I came back, my cousin, he owned the gym here in Melfort. He owned the gym, and he kind of took me under his wing and showed me everything I needed to know. I shouldn't say everything because I've learned a lot since.
Yeah, but enough to get you rolling.
Enough to get me going and started. And I actually lost a lot of weight within the first 3 months. And then my other cousin, he was big into bodybuilding and stuff like that. So he then said, okay, now you're coming to me. Now you're ready. We're going to start putting on size.
Yeah.
And watching him lift, like he was strong. Like he was a strong dude.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm going to do that. I'm like, this is what I'm going to do one day. And I still remember, and I say it still to this day. I was like, okay, I'm going to hit 225 and then that's it. I'm happy. Like that's where I want to get to. That's my goal. And he's like, no, it's not. What do you mean? Yeah, I want 225.
Like that's a big amount.
That's my perfect body. He's like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
And I kept telling him like, no, trust me. Like I'm going to look good at 225.
Yeah.
No, you're not. So what? I hit 225 and I said, I got to get bigger.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I'm not big enough yet because I'm chasing the pump, right?
Yeah.
You look amazing when you're in the gym, but then you come back and you're like, oh, I'm not pumped up anymore. I need to get bigger.
Yeah.
So then Cole and I, so Cole is 6'7". I'm
Yeah.
5'11". There's a huge height difference. We both weighed 225 pounds. And he said, race at 250. I was like, okay, I'll beat you. Like I'll easily get there.
To
Before you do.
250.
So this was when he was living in Alberta. And he came home later that year. We were wearing the exact same sweater, the exact same sweats.
Yeah.
And we weighed ourselves at 237.4.
Oh,
Exactly.
just like,
237.4. We're like, there's no way. There's no way that happened. So then, yeah, we continued our race. We got to 250. And then I finally said, I was like, okay, like this is not a healthy 250 for me.
Yeah.
Like right now I'm sitting at 240, which is much healthier than it was when I hit 250 last time. And I thought I looked good then, but now I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, I was bloated.
Yeah.
Like I ate everything.
Yeah. Anything you do to mass yourself up, probably, hey?
And probably not the healthiest way to do it, the way that I did it, but I got to 250, I cut down, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to stay here.
Yeah.
But it happened. I'm like, no, I need to get bigger again.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of my battle in the gym. And that's why I love it so much, because I'll build up, I'll bulk up, then I'll cut down, then I'll bulk up an extra 10 pounds than I was last time.
Yeah.
And it's just an ongoing battle.
Rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's that, I forget which meme or whatever the heck, or it's an old saying too. It's like, once you're in the gym, you're never big enough kind of thing. It's like, you never, but, the whole like learning from like a basic thing to being able to apply and just challenge yourself more. It's the nice thing with the gym, because there is always like that extra thing you can learn or do, or if you stick with the same workouts all the time, that actually probably regresses you or leads to injury. So it's like, okay, I've been doing lots of this same chest move for the last few months. It's like, okay, now I got to switch up the angle, switch up the tempo, those kinds of things to challenge yourself. So it does keep it interesting. At least I find it interesting when it's like, okay, time to switch it up because I'm getting close to my number, or I've been doing this move for a certain amount of weeks, and now it's time to flip the switch. So cool.
Yeah. It's, you said you're always learning. And in the last month and a half, I'd changed my diet because I wanted to go on a cut again.
Yeah.
And I stuck to a diet that I've never done before. And like, it made me feel amazing.
There you go.
And I'm like thinking to myself, why didn't I do this before?
Yeah.
Like before I was like, dieting, I'm not going to do that. Like, why would I do that? Why would I count my calories and all that stuff?
Yeah.
Now that I do it, I'm like, this is easy. It's not hard at all.
It's not rocket. Well, there's science behind it. I should say it's
Yeah.
not rocket science, because there's a lot of science, but there's so much information out there now where like you can learn, and like the availability of apps to track your food and the scales to weigh it out. And it does make a huge, like I started doing the same thing, especially this last year when I started that challenge. I'm just like, man, I felt good. My energy's level. I'm seeing the results I wanted. So what's your, if you want to divulge a little bit about your current, what's your eating like?
Like what exactly do I eat?
Well, I don't know. What you said you said you're counting. Sure. Like give us a little, what's Jesse's menu? What's his daily like?
So every morning is about 100 grams of steak with 4 eggs.
Ooh.
And a protein shake. This is normally after a walk in the morning. So I come to the gym and I do a half an hour
6 a.m.
walk. Lately I've been walking my dog. I take the time to walk my dog in the morning instead. And then for lunch I have a salad with chicken breast, and I don't have it counted out what my carbs are, but either some rice or some pasta, just to give me a little bit of carbs for the day. And then supper is just a healthy portion of rice with a chicken breast and some vegetables.
There you go.
And it's the same thing every day.
Keep it simple. Lots of protein though, hey?
Lots of protein.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I take 2 scoops of in my protein shake, and I have 2 of those a day.
Yeah.
And then my after gym workout meal is yogurt with granola and fruit.
Yeah.
Like that's just same thing every day.
There you go. Well, some people, I've been helping a few people with nutrition and even myself, but once you get that pattern going, it gets pretty easy to do.
It does, yeah.
And if you enjoy it, like, especially if you enjoy the stuff that you can find a thing that you like to eat and do it more often, and it's like, hey, it's not so bad.
Well, and I cook my chicken a little different each time too, like different spices so that chicken's tastes a little bit different. Or one week will be pasta, one week will be rice. Like I changed that up so it's not always the same thing.
Yeah,
but it tastes good, so why wouldn't I want to eat it, right? Like it's not just bland.
No, it's not like probably what a lot of people think, oh, you got to eat chicken and broccoli, just salt and pepper kind of thing every time. But I do the same. Like I not quite the same amount of protein you have, but I like to batch cook my chicken breast and then I'll just shred it up. And today I want salsa on it. Tomorrow I'll make it into a soup.
Right.
So I just mix it up. And I haven't got bored of it. I've been doing it for a very long time. So
yeah, it's if you like, I mean, you can do it with other things too, right? You don't only have to have chicken. Yeah. You can get beef, steak, fish. Fish is good too, right? Like if you're going to be using beef, it's a little more fatty than chicken, but there's nothing wrong with it, right? No. Like, I mean, it's still healthy. It's better than going to Dairy Queen every day.
Yeah.
So, and it's simple. And can be really cheap too. Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think a lot of people always think it's expensive to eat healthy, which, I mean, if you're buying a $1 pack of instant noodles versus like a steak, right? Sure, that seems like a big difference, but you're getting a lot of that steak, or you can have that little crappy,
that little $1 thing of ramen noodles.
Which I still eat sometimes every now and then. Don't get me wrong, but it's just like, and there's like 300 calories in one of those little packs, and it's like, man, that's a lot. Or I can eat like
it's the salt that kills me though.
Oh,
it's so salty.
Yeah,
it's too much for me.
I may or may not have tried to replicate my own ramen stuff because I didn't want to start buying them all. But now so here's how I've kind of switched it. Like I actually like the salty, like the flavoriness of it. But now, kind of like you, I'll mix my food up and then I'll season my own soup without putting ramen in, so it tastes like it without the actual noodles of it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So that way I still get that reminder of like, oh yeah, this is that noodle thing that I really, because in university, going back to your party fun days.
Yeah. A lot of Burger King was ate during that.
That time. My nutrition back then, one of my favorite go-to meals was a package of noodles, and I'd crack a couple eggs and I'd throw some frozen veggies in, and that was like my university meal.
Well, that's a lot healthier than what I was doing, like realistically.
It was at least I had the veggies, I had my eggs, and then I would always have the noodles. So I just grew really I really liked that taste. So now I still have them, but then I just replicate that flavoring with my soups or whatever. So yeah.
And see, I ate a lot of Ichiban and Kraft Dinner when I was in college, that to a point where I just don't like it anymore.
Fair enough.
If it's there, sure, I'll eat it, but I'd rather eat something else now.
Yeah.
And why? I'm not 100% sure. Maybe I just overdid it and don't like it anymore. It's hard to say.
Could be. Maybe just, I don't know. Like I grew up, we ate Kraft Dinner 2 lots. And in university, like I was like on my own. I remember buying a big box of that bulk Kraft Dinner, and it literally sat in my closet for the whole year. Like I maybe had 1 or 2 boxes of it. And I still like the taste when I eat it, but I just never really, I don't instantly think, oh, I'm going to make Kraft Dinner tonight. So I don't know why certain foods, but I was similar with that. So there you go. So nutrition, and then your style of training right now is more bulking, but you were training a little bit heavier there for a while.
I was.
As in like heavy lifting. So you want to share a little bit about that experience with you and all the whole?
In what way?
I don't know.
How it felt, or?
Well, I guess we were supposed to host for those that are watching still. Thanks for watching, by the way. You made it past.
Hopefully we're keeping you entertained.
Made it past the laughing part.
It will happen again.
Yeah. Let's hope not today. Shit, he's doing it. Okay, just kidding. So we were supposed to host a powerlifting meet here in Tisdale by a powerlifting league, and Jesse was considering entering it. Unfortunately, that powerlifting meet got canceled. It was supposed to be during Easter. Didn't get enough people registered for it, or I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, Jesse was training for it for a while. So that's what I wanted to see what you thought about training like that. How'd you like it? How did you not like it? Did you learn anything?
So this is going to sound cocky, and I don't want it to sound that way.
Okay. Well, we cleared it up, everybody. It's okay. It's not going to sound cocky now.
When it comes to lifting, I pick a weight and I pick it up.
Yeah.
If I can't, I keep doing it until I can. So that's kind of how it was training for that. I said, Kate, my squat is going to be 405.
Yeah.
Right. That was my goal. I knew I couldn't get there. I tried it once, didn't feel comfortable. I put it back down. I went down to 315 till I could rep that out 8 to 10 times. I was like, okay, time to go up to 405. And I did 405. Same thing with my deadlifts. 3 years ago, I think you took the video of me the first time doing 405 on a deadlift, and I could hardly pick it up. Well, now I just repped out 405 5 times for the Fit League with no straps or no belt.
Yeah.
And like that was, I don't train differently. I didn't really train differently.
Okay.
I went heavier and I did less reps, I guess would be the only thing.
Yeah.
I didn't change anything really, because I would always do about a 6 to 8 rep max on all my workouts as my last set, which was similar to what I was doing when I was trying to lift heavier. I would just do that 6 to 8 reps and get down to 2 to 3 reps. Heavier weight, I guess I changed a little bit, but realistically, I didn't change my workout that much.
Okay.
That's what I mean. Like, in what regards how did you want to talk about it? Because I didn't do a whole lot different. I just lifted heavier, right?
I was curious because I know you usually were coming in later when I was, or I wasn't necessarily around. So I actually didn't really know what you were doing for training. I just kept seeing your numbers shooting up. I was like, oh yeah, you going for another PR today? Okay. Oh yeah, he got it. And then it's like next week, oh, he's going for another one. Oh, he's got it.
And that's what it was. Like I just, I was also biking a lot. Biking made a huge difference in my legs.
Oh.
Speaking of biking, the spin class last night, we didn't get to that.
Oh yeah, what a segue.
Sorry, I just thought of that. I had to bring it up because I wanted to start it with this. Not as bad as I thought.
Hey, there you go.
Like, I was dying. You saw me after. Like, I was dead.
It was hot. It was sweaty.
But honestly, it was a lot of fun.
Hey, thanks.
I enjoyed it. We did it for 40 minutes last night?
Yeah, it was 40 minutes.
I honestly thought we were only on there for like 10.
Yeah.
Like the time just flew by when you're like, oh, 2 more songs. I'm like, oh, okay, like another 12 minutes. And like, okay, we're done. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What do you mean we're done?
And that was a longer class than normal. I was like, why the heck is this? I feel like this should be. And then I looked, I was like, oh, I'm on my 45-minute playlist. But there you go.
Honestly, like the only thing that sucked was when we were doing the hovering.
Oh yeah.
It hurt my knee.
Yeah.
So I tried it a couple times. I'm like, no, I'm pushing it too much. Like
I was wondering about that too, because I was like trying to think. I was like, I wonder how that's going to be on his knee.
Yeah.
Because you'd give me a little heads up there, but
for the most part, other than that though, like, I definitely need to work on my cardio. I know that now.
Yeah.
Just walking does not do enough for your actual cardio. It does good for weight loss, but not for actual cardio.
Yeah.
But I was beside my sister, and every time you'd say, like, let's give it 100% kind of thing, I'm like looking at her, she's ripping. I'm like, we're on the same resistance. Why can't I keep up with her?
Yeah.
But I honestly, I would do it again. I 100% would do it again. It was way more fun than I thought it was going to be. And I love to sweat like that. It's just,
oh, it was so sweaty. It was just like, man, like I was just dripping. I was just like, holy man. And I knew it was going to get like that because it was warmer in there. But I think, thanks by the way for the compliment. But I think a lot of people get intimidated by it because it sounds intense. And then I hope I broke it down to everyone. Like I try to make it like this is how you can make it a easier ride for yourself. You can rest here and don't feel uncomfortable with it. So hopefully that message got across, and like there was a few new people in there too with you, so you weren't the only first timer.
Well, there was it Heather that was on the back, and then there's the girl in front of me. They were both new people. But yeah, honestly, to anybody that is thinking about spin, do it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
like,
thanks.
I was definitely intimidated because, like, I've seen spin classes on videos and stuff. I'm like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
I don't do that. Like, look at me. I don't cardio. Like
I lift heavy things. So you just said I
just pick things up and put them down.
When I want to pick it up, I pick it up. If I can't, then I just work until I pick it up.
And it sounds really bad, but that so many people were asking me too during that time. They're like, well, what are you doing differently? I was like, I'm just picking a weight.
Yeah, just pick it up.
Tell me the weight. I'll pick it up. If I can't pick it up, I'll pick it up 2 weeks from now. Like, it's just, that's how it's going to go. And it sounds terrible, but that's how my whole workout has been ever since the beginning of working out. It's like, I'm going to bench 135. Well, I can't do it. Well, now I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And now that's my warm up for 50 reps.
Yeah. So it's like, hey, and I got it.
So you start somewhere, right? And
yeah. And I think that the segue and the spin thing, and I was going to mention this too earlier, was like just the, you got to start somewhere, and if you won't really know until you try kind of thing, right? Then if you don't like it the first time, whatever, maybe you want to give it a second time, but again, you won't really know anything, like whether it be coming into the gym for the first time or trying golf for the first time or whatever the heck, right? You got to have that confidence to try, but sometimes it's that anxiety that people get so fearful of they're going to look bad and feel bad. And
well, what I like telling people, if they're scared to come to the gym, come to the gym and come in there for 15, 20 minutes and just walk around. Yeah. Get comfortable with it. Talk with people. Maybe you don't even pick up a weight.
Yeah.
But every day at 5:30, you come in for 15, 20 minutes. You're going to get in the habit of at 5:30, I'm going to the gym. Yeah. And then maybe a week later, you're like, hey, you know what? I'm going to do some curls. I'm going to do 5 minutes on the bike or 10 minutes on the treadmill or something. Make it easy on yourself and build that habit. So then what a lot of people's mistake is, they come in, I'm doing this, I'm going hard, I'm going to destroy myself. The next day you can't move. Yeah. You're like, I'm not going back. Like, I'm dead now. And that I've seen a lot of people do it. And
me too.
If you just come in and have the habit, come chat with somebody, say hi, get yourself in the routine of coming to the gym. It's a lot less scary.
Yeah. Lots of people that are new to the gym, I kind of say the same thing. It's like, well, even if you could just, lots of times I say you could just go on. Most people will do this naturally anyway. Maybe you can see it yourself, but new people will just quickly go to the treadmill because they know how to walk. Yeah. It's like, I know how to walk. I know how to jog. I've done this in my life, but they don't know anything else. I said, well, if you're nervous, at least you can go on and walk on a treadmill. And like you said, even if it's just for a little bit, but then you can at least look around and see different things. See different things. Like, how are they pushing? And obviously I offer like everyone, like, hey, like I'll show you around the equipment. I'll show you how to use it all. I give a free consultation. All these things to get people in there. Lots of people just choose not to take those, and they're just like, oh no, I'm good, or oh, I'll figure it out. And just like, and then sometimes it's stressful because then all of a sudden it's like, they start coming in, and all of a sudden it's like, I haven't seen them move over to the weights yet. And then all of a sudden a month or two later, they're not in there. So for me, as like someone who wants to see people try those things and learn it and fall in love with it, hopefully, right? I'm trying to segue them into that other side. So just that example of getting consistent is a really like...
It makes a huge difference.
Like, smart.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, I'm glad you liked the spin class.
Yeah, it was, like I said, it was different.
Yeah.
Something completely different.
Well, like everyone, like there's different spin instructors too. So we got other instructors. And if you were to go in Cass's class, for example,
she was giving me a hard time. She's like, oh, sure, you go to Brandon's class. Like, you've never asked me to go to yours. She's like, yes, I do every time. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, maybe you do. Yeah. But she's very much like, she does stuff on the bike that I would struggle with. So I cater my class more to my strengths, and I still try to work on some stuff to improve myself in the spin class. But she's super rhythmic and like has everything choreographed to the songs, and mine's more tempo based.
Right.
Like you said, sprint, go on, and we got a couple little moves in there, but nothing that. But those little moves, I guess, help you, the time pass, I find at least.
Oh, 100% it does. Yeah. Like if you just told us to go, okay, we're going to go up. I really like the hill, the climbing one. Yeah, I love that one because like that was easy. That was literally all my legs. There was no cardio because it was nice and slow. I just had to really push, right? I could do that. I loved that. And I turned to my sister after. I was like, well, I like that. Can we do that for 45 minutes? Like that was so much better. Yeah. I don't know if you noticed it or not, but I picked that sweet. Okay, this is I love the hill climbs too because it simulates an actual bike ride for me. So I used to do like outdoor biking quite a bit. Right. But you used to bike to Star City to school, right?
Yeah. So I invested in a bike and I learned how to like go up these hills. And I was like, I really like the hill climb part because I remember actually going up a valley, learning how to mountain bike and like kind of taking that. You had to like really lean forward on your bike so you didn't fall back. And so it just reminds me of going outside, simulating an actual ride. But on that song, I forgot to mention I had the Painted Black song going. I see a red door and I want to paint it. You know that song?
No.
Oh, dang.
I don't remember listening to it either.
That's
honestly,
right.
The only song I really remember is Project X.
Oh, okay.
Whichever one that one was.
But anyway, this is my Well, maybe no one noticed, but my little thing was I started red, and the song's called Paint It Black. And every time we said add resistance, I slowly darkened it till it was black at the end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, smart, I know, but no one pays attention to my little details. So
I honestly thought you were just doing that to make me feel better because everyone else was going so much faster. You're like, hey, Jesse does not have to worry anymore. I'm just going to darken the room.
I do turn off the lights, but then sometimes when I get new people, I'm like, I better turn them back on to see if they're still alive. Because it is cool to get in the dark and you don't really worry about how fast you're going. And sometimes you might even want to slow down in the dark a little bit and whatever. But
Yeah.
So
Like I said, it was fun. I recommend it to anybody because I mean, you go at your own pace.
Yeah.
Right. You don't have to. And I think that's the most intimidating thing. Like people see those spin class videos online of the instructor just going insane. And normally it's a girl that's doing it. I'm sure there's guys. There's guy spin instructors, obviously, because you are one. But she's always sweating. You're like, well, if she's fit and she's sweating her ass off, what is it going to be like for me? But you go in there and you pick your resistance, you pick your speeds, go at your own pace. Like it's so much less intimidating than what it's made out to be.
And I think, and this is like again, kind of to go at the gym when people, and you could pick the same. It's good. Pick your weights at the gym, right? You don't have to be pressing 100 pounds beside Jesse. You can go with, and that's where people are like, well, he's pressing 100 pounds and I'm pressing 8 pounds. I was like, yeah, but we all start somewhere, right?
Well, like I said, when 135, I couldn't lift 135 when I started working out.
Yeah.
Like that was my max. And people are always saying like, oh, well, you just make it look so easy. I'm like, yeah, but I was there. You guys are like the kids that come in, right? They want to, I think they mostly want to try to be like me.
Yeah.
And I'm telling them, I want to just tell them, like, slow down. Like, don't worry about the weight. It's going to come. You're 14 years old.
Yeah,
I was lucky if I could do 95 pounds when I was 14 years old. Like, I couldn't bench. So that's the scary thing about how you say, well, he's doing this and they want to do it. I'm like, don't. Yeah. I've made my mistakes of going too heavy too soon.
Yes. And that's what I'm hoping, like, people that are watching the show, and let's say someone's listening to us and they, here and they get kind of motivated to try this stuff out, right? And then they listen to, let's say, your story about how you did, and they're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't do that. And hopefully then they just learn by listening to the guests that we have on here and their experiences and even like their whatever laughs or whatever that we were doing. They get entertained. But I'm hoping that you guys are pulling some stuff from like Jesse here so that you guys can like, hey, you know what? Yeah, I understand that. Or I can, if I do decide to go to the gym, maybe I take his advice and go in for the 15 minutes, like you said, walk around the gym, make a habit of it, right? So all those little things and building yourself up successful over it. And again, the other thing I want to do with the podcast show is to distill like longevity a lot with people in the gym. So you can have
stretch.
Yeah.
You need to stretch.
Stretch, mobility, like look at who you are now and who you want to be when you're older and even older and even older. Like how do you want to be when you're, let's say, a high school kid, and who do you want to be when you're 20, 30, 40, and then who do you want to be when you're 60, 70, 80, right? So that's kind of my goal with it. So thanks for sharing lots of those things.
The biggest thing is definitely stretching though. Like if you want longevity in the gym, you need to stretch.
Yes.
You know all about that, obviously.
Yes. And now, do I do it enough? No.
Yeah, I definitely don't.
I know.
I made a habit of stretching my shoulders a lot more, and my mobility in my shoulder has gotten so much better.
It feels so good when it's like, why don't I do this more often?
Yeah.
It's just like, but
I'm kicking myself in the ass from 10 years ago not doing this stuff. It's so simple. Like, why wouldn't you do it? It's 10 minutes, maybe. You can do a full body stretch in 20 minutes, and it's more than enough.
Yeah.
Why not? Why not do that all the time?
I don't know. It's just I'm sure there's some kind of human nature, whatever, dopamine response. I've been watching all these other podcasts on dopamine responses and this other stuff. So yeah, that's all right though. We do need to wrap this up here, I think, at some point here, because I'm thinking all these things are still rolling. So I was like impressed. Like, we're at the 40-minute mark, but
actually, wow.
Yeah, I know, right?
Again, it didn't seem like that long.
Yeah, but I had lots of fun today.
Oh, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, for the first, that could go down in history for sure. Like, I didn't expect to have a hot shots golf laugh attack for 5 minutes there.
I didn't, honestly, when I said it, I didn't even think it was going to be, like, it wasn't planning to be funny. It just happened. It just came out that way.
It was that good. Yeah. And I've had a laugh attack in so long. So I was glad that I was like, whatever, this is perfect. Like, I don't know if we'll ever have a podcast quite like this ever again. So, but yeah, I think if we can get you back on the show, that would be awesome.
Whenever you want me, I'm ready.
Yeah, awesome. And then what else can I say for people that are listening? If you guys are not subscribed to YouTube and you guys want to watch us and see what we look like, because maybe you're listening to it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can come look at us, I suppose, on camera, because why not?
Congratulations, by the way, for getting on Spotify and Apple.
Oh, thank you.
I found that out the other day. That was good.
Yeah, I'm trying to get out there so I can reach the most people that I can, right? But yeah, if you guys are on YouTube and you guys want to drop some comments, that would definitely help. So if you guys leave a comment for Jesse, I'm sure he'll go and look at them and
I'm going to be eyeing those comments.
yeah, exactly, right? Is there any last little bit of advice or stuff for people that's go into fitness or sports or just in life in general? Some motivation or some could be a sports thing. Anything that you want to leave the guys with? I know, put you on the spot.
I'm trying to think. If you listen to what I was saying about bodybuilding or lifting in general, don't push yourself. Don't do what I do. Don't just pick a weight and pick it up. Take your time.
Take your time.
Because that's something I've been doing for a long time. And I don't want anyone to be like, oh, well, Jesse said you just pick a weight and pick it up. No, don't do that. That's the biggest thing I'm going to say. That's not really motivational, but
yeah.
It's kind of a precautionary. I don't want any injuries because they're like, oh, well, this guy said he can do it. I can do it too. Do your research, take your time, and make sure at all times you have a spot. That's kind of the biggest thing.
Yeah. And I mean, the more you put into it, and that's a good end note, the more you guys put into learning about it and investing your own time and knowledge and effort, the more you're going to appreciate it and the more likely you're going to stick with it. Because if you have no idea what you're doing or how to do it, you're going to get either hurt, confused, not the results you want. So take your time. There's lots of content out there. There's lots of people in the gym like Jesse who will help you guys out. I've noticed that a lot with you, actually, by the way. Yeah.
I know I might look like an asshole when I have my headphones in, but as you guys can see, I like to smile. I like to laugh.
Yeah. So, no, that's awesome. For all the help that you do at the gym and all the stuff that you got going on this summer, I'm sure we'll kind of come back and we'll have a little chat to see how those things are going. So
sounds great.
Right on. Thanks for coming.
Well, thank you for having me.
Awesome. We'll see you guys on the next Northern Strength Fitness podcast show. Boom.